Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I want to make this intro quick today because I am so excited about the interview we have for you today. It's something I know you guys have wanted. If you are new here, hello, my name is Nina, the owner of I Do Wedding Marketing, and a lot of my teachings are organic based. That means not paid ads, but so many of you want to know the secrets to paid advertising for wedding professionals. Well, I have found them. Wedding industry ads. That is Whitney and Daniela. And this episode, we have Whitney talking to us about an evergreen ad strategy for wedding professionals. You are going to love everything she has to share. Whitney has a real gift of explaining what to me is some very complicated stuff in an easy to follow way that is specific to the wedding industry. So let me tell you a bit about Whitney Hodges. Whitney has been running meta ad campaigns since 2020. She has worked with coaches, consultants, course creators, other people in the online space. But in 2022, she and Daniela, who you will meet in another episode, launched Wedding Industry Ads, a boutique agency for wedding venues and wedding vendors. They focus specifically on Google, Google, Google and Meta ads, and have developed a full lead management system, Lead Lock. They know, just like I do niche marketing and social media for wedding professionals, that's what they do for Google and Meta ads. So they can speak specifically to your pain points and your needs. And that's what you're going to see ahead in this interview with Whitney. So I'll come back at the end, but listen to this. Whitney, I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast.
Nina, thank you so much for having me today. It's such a pleasure to be with you and here talking with you. Thank you.
I have to say, meeting you and Daniela was like, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, which is, thoughts become things. And when I met you, Daniela, and just the brand wedding industry ads, I was like, wow, I found myself in the ads world. Like, it's just like, I felt like finding my other half, but they do what I don't do.
It's such a perfect compliment, and we feel exactly the same way. I love that we were able to find each other on Instagram. I totally believe that the universe brought us together. That's what I often say about me and my business partner, Daniela, because we met in the online space almost 4 years ago now. And totally right there with you. The law of attraction is a very real thing, and I think we can manifest into existence anything we want.
Yeah, so maybe that will be our next topic.
Love it.
But like me, which I want everybody listening to know, is you actually have a background in the wedding industry, which has really, I think, been pivotal for you with wedding industry ads. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yes. So from 2008 all the way through 2020, I had a variety of different, sales, event sales and catering roles at different wedding venues and hotels all around the Austin, Texas area. So I absolutely love sales, love weddings, really events of all kinds. So special to be just a part of somebody's like really big day and important event and be able to kind of like have behind the scenes peeks of all those really special moments. But not only just working with the clients, it's everybody in the wedding industry I love, right? There's such a great sense of community that I feel like you don't find across other industries. In other industries, we don't necessarily have the opportunity to collaborate and work with so many other business owners weekend after weekend, right? And it's just this incredible incredible pool of super talented and creative, but also like extremely hardworking people that I've just been so privileged to meet and get to know and get to work with over the years. Um, and I dabbled a little bit in some of the marketing stuff. I was familiar with all of that in my different sales roles. But as I was kind of 2020 COVID era, right, doing some soul searching on what do I really want to do for my career, I decided that I wanted to start my own business, and that digital marketing was really I wanted to focus on. And then I came across Facebook and Instagram ads, and I knew very little about them other than the fact that they are incredibly powerful and really are in high demand in the online event space. So I went that route and have really never looked back.
It's so fun. And what I love is that you started in the Austin, Texas area because I'm a New Yorker and I grasp that Texas and New York are very different. But when I'm marketing for venues and weddings in general, there's the same volume and the same kind of appreciation of weddings. And that's what I really like about Texas for weddings. I just find that it's just as big and competitive as weddings has become in New York. I love that.
I completely agree. I think there are a lot of different parallels between our two states, right? We're proud Texans, but you meet any New Yorker and they're a proud New Yorker too. And we, have our own sense of culture and identity that can be really easy to identify and tap into when we're marketing businesses in our different states.
And speaking of marketing the businesses, what makes wedding businesses such great candidates for ads?
Well, what's great about wedding businesses and advertising for them is that you know that people are already actively looking for your services. You don't have to sell them on the fact that they need a wedding venue. They know they need a wedding venue. You don't have to sell them on the fact that they need a florist. They know that they need flowers for their wedding. They are going to book somewhere. And there are a lot of different wedding venues and wedding vendors and businesses out there that really haven't tapped into the capabilities of what's possible through Google ads and through Meta ads, Facebook and Instagram ads. So in terms of what's happening in the wedding industry, those spaces aren't saturated yet. So there's the opportunity to really be one of the front runners in terms of getting onto those platforms and advertising on those platforms. And potentially the ability to kind of step away or pull back a little bit from some of the more traditional avenues like the nod and wedding wire that are getting more and more saturated, or having to show up in person for bridal fairs or extravaganzas and things along those lines.
So this is a little, because I want to get to, because it shocked me when you mentioned how organic marketing is actually playing a role in your ad strategy. But before I get to that, I want to ask, based on what you just said, have you had any firsthand experiences working with a wedding client where they're the first in their area to really tap into this strategy and can kind of become the front runner in the area because they went all in on Google and Facebook ads?
We have, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So we have a client that's in the Bryan College Station area of Texas, and they were a brand new venue. They built everything from the ground up. So, they didn't have the referral network in place. They didn't have all of the years of website SEO. But they had this big, beautiful venue that they knew that they needed to fill for all of their weekend dates. And so they went all in on Facebook and Instagram ads and Google ads as well. And so they're our client that's been with us the longest so far, several years now. And they really are a staple now in that market, in that area. Everybody knows them. That's where all the Texas A&M brides want to have their wedding. They've become iconic in a really short time.
I love that, kind of just helping brands establish themselves as industry leaders in their area. Love
Absolutely.
it. So now you shocked me when you said that organic marketing was a piece of an ad strategy. So can you speak about that?
Absolutely. So at Wedding Industry Ads, our business, we look at advertising and marketing in a very holistic way, right? Um, Advertising, on Google or on Meta, Facebook and Instagram in particular, it's never going to completely eliminate the need for showing up organically. Ads are really just a piece, and a very effective and high ROI piece, I would argue, of kind of this overall marketing and advertising puzzle. So what makes the best ad copy and creative, though, often begins as organic content. So, the content of your reels, of your website, of what's in your brochures, that really encompasses, what a business's overall kind of messaging and positioning is, right? And it's through what we see performing well organically that will typically help us determine what is going to make a great ad. So it's through the organic marketing and your sales process really that you as a business owner or wedding professional are going to gain that understanding of what sort of messaging really resonates with an ideal client. And those are the insights that we need in order to build a super successful ad strategy.
Let me see if I got this right. So let's say, you're a new wedding business or even established and you want to get more into your marketing strategy. You want to invest in ads, but rather than throwing spaghetti at the wall for stuff you're paying for, it's kind of like do that first unpaid to see which work and then use that information to invest.
Absolutely, 100%. That's what I would say is really organic marketing. That's your opportunity to craft your your unique position in the market, to show your value, to see what kinds of verbiage, words,
Mm,
unique details that your ideal clients, the people who are buying from you and signing with you, are really kind of picking up on, and then threading that throughout your messaging and putting ad spend behind it.
great. So how can somebody, or what advice do you have for somebody to prepare for that, for creating the organic content to prepare for investing in ads?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a variety of different objectives when it comes to your ads on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram. But you can craft organic content that would also be kind of meeting those objectives and then could very easily in the future be pulled into an advertising campaign. And even campaigns, I mean, we're talking that you can put ad spend behind particular posts for as little as $1 a day, but it's going to get you more visibility. It's going to get you in front of your ideal client. So there are, I would say, 3 different types of content that I think that you should be thinking about creating in your organic strategy that could then be repurposed. The first is what is going to attract an ideal client to you. So if there's somebody who has never heard of your wedding business before, but they are seeing on Instagram for the very first time your business, what piece of content would you want them to be seeing first that is going to put your best foot forward, that's really going to set you apart from anybody else who's doing what you do, but also just help them have an understanding of what it is that you do, why you're great at it. So think really great visuals, video content, things along those lines. Then the other pieces of content that you'd want to incorporate into your organic marketing that can also be repurposed for ads are what we call nurture content. So this is for the people who maybe do already know that you exist. They've already come across your profile. They've visited your website. What do you want to put in front of them that's going to help you close the sale, help them actually become an ideal client, but also keep you top of mind, right? Keep you in their news feeds, keep you in the stories that they're scrolling through. So when we talk about nurture content, we're thinking about things like testimonials from real couples, footage from real weddings, any sort of post or more information that's going to address common pain points that you're seeing from your clients, help overcome objections, but also really establish you as authority too. So that can be, reviews. It can be features from magazines or blogs where real weddings have been featured. Also, if you're brave enough, it can also be you yourself as the business owner, getting on camera, speaking face to cam, giving behind the scenes looks at things and insights. Then, seeing your face and getting to know you before they even have a consultation or maybe come in for a tour is going to give you such a leg up in the sales process. And then the final piece of content are going to be posts that really drive action. So what is this next step that you're wanting these people to take, whether it's inquiring or booking a tour or scheduling a consulting call. So this is more of your direct response copy, where you are really very clearly giving them a call to action and telling them what to do next. We like to see these, have links to a landing page or to your website where they're then going to have a form that they're completing and filling out so that they are, in your inbox and officially in your sales funnel from there.
Nice. There's a lot of things you said right in there that I want to kind of dive into a bit. One is I want to just appeal to everybody's vanity metrics here and say, whenever for a client they let me post a photo of them, the reach goes up, the interactions go up, the comments go up. Test it out, guys. Give it a shot. Not saying you have to make it your ad yet, but sprinkle it in. Try it and see, because I see great results on the organic end with that. So I can only imagine what happens once you put some ad strategy behind it. You also
you're spot on with that too.
Yeah. You also mentioned a minimum of $1 a day. So I have to talk to you about, just do a little info about money and dollars. And I know you have your recommended amounts. I'm sure it's not $1 a day, but can you talk to me a little about that?
Absolutely. Yes. So for, ideally advertising on Meta, Facebook and Instagram, and Google respectively, we typically recommend for our full service clients, where we're the ones that are managing everything, setting everything up for them, that they spend a minimum of $500 per month per platform on their ad spend. However, we believe that Meta ads in particular can serve any business owner, even if you're not necessarily ready to be putting $500 a month behind your ad spend. I would say that you probably wouldn't recommend going lower than $300 a month. So that works out to be about $10 a day. And with that $10 a day, you can set up a really robust ad strategy that incorporates all those different types of varieties of posts that I just mentioned, that's really well-rounded, right? So at the very top of funnel, we have video views and engagement ads that are attracting people who have absolutely never heard of you before and bringing them into your world. Then more, kind of middle of funnel, we have other ads that are nurturing people, establishing your authority, sharing testimonials and results. And then for kind of more bottom of funnel, people who have maybe already visited your website before, really have kind of been interacting with you, or checking things out on your Facebook and your Instagram. Then you can do traffic ads or conversion ads that are going to drive them to your website and should appeal to the people who are most likely to take action and take the next step. So that's what's so powerful about Meta ads, is that they have all of these different objectives that you can choose from, and so much sophisticated targeting to really kind of be able to tap into their algorithms, their AI learning, and make it work for you and for your business.
Thank you for that, because that really helps, hopefully, all the listeners be able to really get an idea of what this looks like, because I know they're going to just hear everything you have to say and get excited and want to start working together, at least follow wedding industry ads, because it's just, I was so excited to find out you guys exist. Now, what we're talking about today is taking the organic marketing to then create an evergreen ad strategy. So can you explain what that is?
Sure. Yeah. So an evergreen ad strategy is really going to incorporate ads that have the ability to stand the test of time, right? So ads that are consistently performing well and reaching these variety of different objectives that we're looking for, whether that be video views or engagement or website traffic or leads. We want to make sure when we're putting these ads together and putting them out there that the messaging and the imagery really aren't seasonal, right? It's something that somebody could see at any time. So, we're not necessarily mentioning any sort of time sensitive discounts or, any particular remaining dates, because we want these ads to be able to run again and again and again, day after day, month after month. We have some clients where we found these winning ads and they've been running for over a year now and still consistently performing well. And we have them set up, to where they're always going to be reaching new people. So they're consistently performing well because there are always new people that are getting engaged, right? And that are looking for your services. They're not fatiguing the same way as, an ad for some other sort of like local business that would just be getting in front of people over and over, right? There's constantly this new pool of clientele to be able to work from. And so it can take some testing and some trial and error to kind of uncover what the best ad copy and creatives are for your particular business. But we do, our team does have a formula that we see that consistently works pretty well. So we have the insights to be able to, from the get-go, really kind of put your best foot forward as a business in terms of like taking a stab at what sort of ads we think are going to perform best. But then from there can kind of continue to keep an eye on things, tweak, test, relaunch, all that fun stuff that our ads managers do.
Yeah, that was a real epiphany as you were saying, the audience changes. So it's kind of really exciting. And I couldn't think of an example either. The only example
Yeah.
I can think of right now, it's like we're not selling Stanley cups because those are so big right now. And they have to have their, yep, you got one. They have to have their limited edition designs to keep getting the same people over and over. We don't have to do that, because who's shopping is changing. Not the best example, but just made me laugh that the
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Cup quenchers are that prevalent right now. That's where my mind went. So, how can wedding pros on their own, though, decide or identify which post would convert best to ads?
Sure. Yeah. So it's a combination of a couple of different things, right? So organic engagement is typically a good indicator, right? If you have a post that's gotten a lot of likes or shares, or a reel that reached a lot of non-followers, things like that. But you also have to keep relevance in mind, right? And make sure that the messaging and the positioning is really, meeting those particular objectives. So, as an example of what you wouldn't want to do, right? A wedding venue could maybe have a post that features like an insanely amazing cake or floral installation, right? But it's focused on that kind of one thing that doesn't necessarily have to do with what the venue looks like or the fact that they're a venue at all, right? But it could go viral. It could get tons of likes just because it's an incredible image. But this would not be a great use of your paid ad spend, right? Because it's not actually showcasing the venue or your services, what you have to offer. And so as an ad, on the front end, it might perform well. It could get a lot of views. It could get a great click-through rate or low cost per click, but it might not necessarily end up at that kind of what our end goal is in terms of people actually inquiring, right? Because what you're putting in front of them from the beginning isn't relevant to what you want the end result to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll give an example of what I see a lot and what I'm always trying to do as the person creating the organic content. Because I love when it's a luxury event. I'm going to give the example of marquee letters. So there's the accounts that we see that have the great marquee letters, and very often the purchaser will pair it with luxury balloons and florals. And those make
Mm-hmm.
for really great photos, really great clicks. But as the marquee company, I'm only selling the letters. So I want to make sure some of my other posts show if you just get the letters. So even though I'm integrating those other posts, I want to make sure they're seeing just the product kind of as you get it too. And not saying that that's not going to look nice, but that's how I related to it as the person doing the organic content, is that you want to show what you're selling too, and then in your organic content, sprinkle in those awesome luxury photos.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You want to make it really clear what you're actually advertising,
Hmm.
right?
So I know your primary focus is Google and Meta. So let's talk about Google for a bit. What makes that a great place for wedding pros to look for leads?
So Google ads are incredible. This is the place to be because clients are actively searching for what you have to offer, right? They are opening up their browsers, they are typing in what they need. They want to find you. And Google ads really can guarantee that you're getting the best placement possible in the search results for some of these like really high intent keywords. Best DJ Austin, Texas, right? It could take years, if ever, for your SEO, especially as a new business, right, to get you onto that first page of results. But if you're open to spending, $20 a day or so on Google ads, you can show up there on the first page. So, it is really kind of pay to play in that space. But it's 100% worth it because you're going to be getting in front of clients who want to reach out to you. They are looking for what you have to offer.
And the return on investment there, when you think about, and that's really going to be personal to each client as they look into their sales rates and numbers and how many leads they close. Because if you're spending $20 a day, but you're booking two couples a week, there's going to be a really huge return there. So that's just something exciting to think about too.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So when you think about, even if you were to advertise on both Google and Meta, that's $1,000 a month.
Mhm.
Um, Booking one wedding in that month should cover that and then some, right? Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
totally worth
love
it.
it. Now we spoke about Google, so let's give Meta a little love. What makes Meta a great place to advertise?
So Meta is great for nurturing your leads, right? On Meta, we have really sophisticated retargeting abilities, to where we can put ads in front of anybody who has visited your website, anybody who has filled out your inquiry form, anyone who has engaged with you on Facebook and Instagram recently, and make sure that you're kind of staying top of mind, staying in their news feeds and their stories. But it's also a good place to get in front of potential clients who might not yet be actively searching for your services the way that they would be on Google, right? Maybe they just got engaged, but Meta knows because Meta knows a lot about us,
Everything about us.
and maybe they're not ready to book their DJ or their florist yet, but Meta knows they've been searching for their wedding venue. And so your floristry ads, your DJ ads are going to start showing up in their newsfeed. And maybe they're not ready to take action just then, right at that moment, but they'll have seen your ads and be seeing your nurture ads leading up to when they're getting ready to book those, ancillary wedding services. And you'll be top of mind because you'll already have been coming up in their newsfeed.
I love that Meta has become what we used Facebook for in college, which was, let's say we meet a guy, our friend finds out everything about him. He's talking to this girl, this person's engaged, this person knows this. Now Meta uses that as ads. Like we don't need our stalker friend to do it all for us anymore. They figured out we know everything about everybody. So if you pay to use it, it can benefit your business.
I know. Isn't this like the true badge of an elder millennial, right? Where we can
Hmm.
say, I remember Facebook
Yeah,
way
back in
back
our day. Yeah.
when you had to have a college email
College
address,
email.
all
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
What a time to be alive, though. It was so exciting having, everyone at your fingertips. Now I'm just like, oh, you can't get rid of them. But at the time, it was really cool. So right now we are at the beginning of 2024, and I hear this at least from a lot of my clients, is they're a little panicked, no, maybe not panicked, but concerned about their remaining 2024 dates.
Mhm.
And they want to see how much they can sell same year. So where would you recommend someone in that situation invest their money?
Sure. Yeah. So is this kind of question, I guess, if like if they had to pick or choose maybe between Meta or Google, or like, they don't have the capacity to be able to start with both, because my answer would be
Be
you
both.
should use both
Yeah.
platforms, right? If you have the $1,000 a month to spend to be on there, you should
Hmm.
do that because they're going to be serving different objectives.
Okay.
But if you're more kind of in the position of having to pick or choose, I would say it's going to be different depending on what your goals are, right? So if it's just kind of more leads in general that you are needing, then I would start with Google. If it's not necessarily more leads, but it's wanting to um, tighten up your sales process, your nurture process, maybe not have to feel like you're relying so incredibly heavily on organic and having to post every day, then I would say that Meta is the place where you should be, right? Because you already have all these leads coming in. Advertising on Meta is where then you can continuously be able to nurture these leads and stay in front of them, take your best pieces of organic content and turn them into evergreen ads, right? That's another great thing about leveraging Meta ads and turning organic content into evergreen ads. You might have an incredible post that you posted 6 months ago, a year ago, that a client wouldn't come across unless they're like really like doing some digging, right? But it was gorgeous and amazing and got great engagement. Why not turn that into a paid ad on Meta that's, a dollar, a couple of dollars a day, that you can then guarantee where it's going to show up in the news feed of all these new people that are following you, that are interested in your services, that might not have seen it 6 months, a year ago when it was originally posted.
I love that. Keep those posts alive. Now, let's say
Yes,
someone, because of course, agree with you that doing both is best. So someone's like, you know what? I really think this is what I need to do. 1,000 a month. I'm in. How many months should they anticipate they're gonna need to or should invest in at a time?
yeah.
Hmm.
A 3 month commitment, right? It's going to take some time. First of all, some legwork in terms of getting things set up, in terms of getting the actual account set up, tracking set up on your website, kind of seasoning your pixel, as we like to call it, seasoning the account. And it's usually, kind of in that second to third month where we're really kind of starting to see things optimized, starting to see kind of more consistent results. So I would say 3 months minimum, but a 6 month commitment really is even better.
Great. I wanted to ask that so people can kind of have that expectation set, because the next thing I'm going to ask you before our bonus round is how can wedding professionals work with wedding industry ads?
Absolutely, yes. So, we do have full service options where it's really white glove done for you. We can take care of everything for you. And those are those kind of like 3 month and 6 month commitments, like I've talked about. But if that's something that you feel like you're maybe not quite ready for, we do have lower barrier ways to work with us through VIP days, where, we would block off a day to meet with you to get all of your Meta ads set up or to get all of your Google ads set up. I would say this is for the wedding business owner or the wedding pro who is kind of more of a DIYer, who wants to learn and really wants to, kind of manage the day-to-day or the week-to-week of their ads, likes that data, likes analyzing that data, because we'll get everything set up for you, but then from there, you kind of take it and run with it, right? We give you resources in terms of how to know what's working or when to know how to change things, and are available for ongoing consulting calls. But it would really be something where you're kind of more taking the reins. So yeah, those are the two different ways that you can work with us: completely done for you, or more of kind of like the done with you hand holding, but then you're also learning alongside of us, right?
I love that. That's really exciting. Oh, I want to do it. Okay. Let's get to our bonus round then. Kind of just fast paced. First thing that comes to mind. The best weddings have.
Um, so I love, and I did this for my wedding, and I don't see it at a lot of weddings. We did cocktails before the ceremony. So we did a pre-ceremony cocktail hour. Not like cocktail hour per se, right? It was like past
Yeah.
cocktails, past champagne. We were totally cool with people sitting down to the ceremony, like drink in hand. We're like, this is the party. Let's do
Yeah.
this, right?
Relax,
Um,
chill.
yeah.
Just don't
So I think
heckle
that
us.
yeah. So I love that. I recommend it for everybody. But I also think that the best weddings have live bands too. Like if
Hmm.
there's a live band, you will find me cutting it up on the dance floor at
It's a
the
really
end.
special energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cocktail hour or dessert hour?
Mm, I'm gonna go with cocktail hour because by the time that desserts are being served, the dance floor is where you are going to,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. You
yeah,
almost,
I won't be able to take a break for dessert.
if you're having dessert hour, you need that like in the itinerary so people know, because people will stay
Exactly.
if they
Mm-hmm.
know there's going to be like a big assortment of desserts. So get that out there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The last book you read.
Well, so I'm almost done with it. Malibu Rising
Oh,
by Taylor
Taylor
Jenkins Reid,
Yeah.
who I love. And yeah, I'm like at the edge of my seat. And I say reading, but I do all my books on audio
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like
It's reading.
multitasking.
It counts. Put it
Um,
on your Goodreads.
but yeah, I love her. I love, everything that she's written, and I love how she's creating this little kind of like her own little Hollywood universe where all of these characters and books are interconnected.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that a bit more after.
Yeah.
When you're in the zone, you're listening to.
So music actually is really distracting for me when
Mhm.
I'm working. So if I'm working, I actually don't have any audio or anything going on. But if I'm like doing chores around the house or folding laundry or anything like that, I'm usually like jamming out. And I've got a playlist of really just kind of all of these like high energy songs that put me in a great mood, like everything from Bruno Mars to Whitney Houston to Dua Lipa. It's just like my favorites. It really kind of like gives me some momentum for the day.
Love it. Love it. And I added this one, favorite Bill Pullman movie, because we're these millennial girls, so we love Bill
Yes,
Pullman.
when I saw that on your stories earlier this week, it cracked me up. But I have to say Casper, just because
Yeah.
it's the first Bill Pullman movie I ever saw, and I love that movie. And it was Halloween season, not all that many months ago, and I got to watch it with my daughter for the first time. And yeah, there will always be some nostalgia with that for me. But I also do love what's the the Sinner, is that what it's called?
Oh,
The
yes, yes.
show that he has, the series. I love that too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Bill Pullman just, keeps just staying consistent. Well, we'll just call it that, just like marketing. Bill Pullman stays consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Whitney, this was so much fun. I'm gonna have in the links in the show notes how you can work with Whitney and Daniela, where you can follow wedding industry ads and all of the good stuff. So thanks so much for being here.
Nina, thank you for making this so fun. It was great.
Oh, thank you. Well, guys, if you listen to all of that, then I know what you're looking for, and it is the link to Wedding Industry Ads VIP days. So I have that in the show notes. You can follow Whitney and meet Daniela over at Wedding Industry Ads on Instagram, and be sure you subscribe to the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast so you can hear when Daniela comes on to give us more information about ads for wedding professionals. I'm just so excited that wedding industry ads has come into our space because it is just such a compliment to what I am not able to teach you guys. And now we have this information here that we can all learn from. Thank you for being here, guys. And I will see you on the next Wedding Wednesday here at the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast.